today we're going to have a very special story, very interesting story. You know, we talk a lot. I've talked a lot over the years about, done videos on Juneteenth, particularly when it started in its early years on Jefferson Avenue. But what many might not know is that in 1978, for the Juneteenth Festival, there was a concert, a special concert that took place, and a special all-star concert, which featured some of the likes of Mays and Frankie Beverly, also Cameo, Dexter Wansel, and Roy Ayers. And here to talk about it, I'm very happy to have them with me, were the organizers of that Juneteenth All Star Concert of 1978. I have Celeste Lawson, Jackie French, and Ann Faith Harris. Ladies, welcome to the Buffalo History Channel.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Frankie. Great.
Absolutely.
To be here.
So let's first start off by I was showing you before we started recording this interview. I was sharing with them some imagery of the Juneteenth of 1970. I wanted to take them back to that time to kind of stir up some memories. Can you ladies, give us some of your memories of Juneteenth when it was on Jefferson Avenue? And what do you remember about it?
Who wants to go first? Go ahead, Ann. You first.
Well, I mean, that really took me back. I mean, just a way back moment. What struck me was that there was so much participation and excitement within the community celebrating Juneteenth, and that was pretty. It wasn't something that was celebrated elsewhere very much. I know that Bill Gator, who was the director of the Build organization, was the one that kind of started that off. And I was commenting that I did not remember so much diversity being in that march or in the parade. I didn't remember all the white bands and white groups that were marching. So it was like, whoa, I forgot all about that. But you know, it just indicated to me how you know, how tight the Black community was at that time in terms of celebrating Juneteenth and celebrating itself. So that's what struck me when I saw those images.
Okay, so
Yeah, I kind of agree with that wholeheartedly, because it was a very dynamic event. It had garnered a lot of attention statewide and nationally. And the input, and I think that's one of the reasons why we were able to pull together such a large concert program, was because of the attention it was getting statewide and nationally. And the inspiration for doing that was in support of Arthur Eve, who was running for mayor or had run for mayor. And we wanted to, you know, support him, raise some money, raise some more awareness, and then, you know, satisfy some of the ego that was in there, because we were very proud of ourselves at being able to, you know, pull something like that together with those kind of popular, nationally recognized downtown auditorium.
okay.
So it's very exciting.
Right.
Jackie?
Oh no, it was just a pleasure being involved in it, and I enjoyed looking at the footage as well. I don't remember any Europeans being there, but I guess I guess so. But
Okay, so when I was reading up on the concert, it was put together by Syrah Publications. Did I say that correctly, first of all?
Yeah, you did.
Okay. So what was Syrah Publications?
Well, gee, I think several years before that concert, I was yeah, I have been involved in quite a bit of the Black arts. Imani Music Workshop, worked a lot with Black dance and the theater companies and that sort of thing. And so at one point, I decided that I wanted to establish a business vehicle, if you will. And I started Sarah Publications as a corporation to promote Pan-African music. And it had a pretty wide charter that would allow for music production and promotion. And that gave us the platform to be able to get into some concert production.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what were the steps? Talk to us about what went into as much as your memory will allow you to. What was it that went into putting that concert together and you know, reaching out to the artists, securing the facility at the Buffalo Memorial Auditorium? Talk to us about that process.
First, it was about trying to find what people wanted to see besides getting a program together, who people would like to see.
Yeah, we did some research. The Juneteenth was not our first venture with Sarah, which is Harris's name spelled backwards. That's how that came about.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
that is,
That's
look at
it,
that.
right.
That's
There you go. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, yeah. We had done Patti LaBelle at Shays.
That was the first one.
That was the very first, out of the box event that we did. And so at that time, you know, when you're in your 20s, because that's where we were young, you know, you're very, you're fearless in a lot of different ways. And once that had come together, the process, you know, reach out to the booking agent, talk to the agents. And at that point in time, artists were not in self-contained contracts as they are now. So you negotiated, you know, piece by piece, and you did a lot of swap and trade. And so what we did essentially was pick people we like.
Who we wanted to see.
Who we wanted to see, right? So that, you know, that was, oh yeah, look, that's cool, let's do this. And plus they were on the radio. Let's face it, you know, Wuffo was playing these songs. Wuffo was supportive, as was you know, BLK. So, you know, we knew that those were, you know, sounds of the city at that time and that people were enjoying.
And the bars.
And the bars. Yeah, we did a lot of work after dark, you know, trying to get DJs to play, you know, the songs and to promote the tickets. And it was during that we actually engaged Doris Records as a ticket outlet, because up until then they really weren't
Any black.
Yeah, there weren't any black distributors of tickets. You know, not for major acts anyway. So that was, you know, something that we started with Mac Lucci, and that you know, continued, and I think still does. So it was about reaching out to the agents, and you could access the agents at that time, and they were willing to talk about their stable of artists, and they were able, you know, to navigate and negotiate money. You give me this act and I'll take that act. You know, you want this guy, then you gotta bring me this guy. So there was
Bartering.
yeah,
Horse trading.
bartering of talent, and it's horse trading. Yeah, you know. So there was that. And then, you know, there was the management of the contract writers. You know, Jackie was really key in helping us, you know, manage those contract writers, because they could be sticky.
Yes.
And you know, and a little bit too much, you know, for who they were. And then we went about having support from the community. Eunice Goggins was a supporter. The Build people were, you know, a supporter, because, you know, we were being helpful to art at the time. so it was just really a matter of, trial by fire. That's, on the job training. That's really how
Exactly what it was.
we got that done. And you just go do it. Because when you don't know what you don't know, you just do it. Because you don't know you're not supposed to do it, right?
And sometimes you got to do it.
And
Basically, you do it first, ask
that's
questions later.
pretty much.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that, and that, I think that's that's the spirit of youthful entrepreneurship. Risk is not something that you fear, because you are fearless at that time. I mean, as time goes by and the older you become,
What did I do?
right? You realize, oh my God, okay.
Yeah.
Because you become aware.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I would also add that, we didn't go in it like totally blind, right?
No.
We were doing community productions
Yeah.
within the whether we were working with a black dance workshop or the New Black Theater Ensemble. We were doing those productions ourselves, really.
Yeah.
And in addition, both Celeste and I worked for a short while for the Buffalo Philharmonic Orchestra. And I was an assistant to the concert master. And so, we took a look at the tech writers, and, we had an idea of what it took, right, to put some sort of production together. Now, do we have the resources to do that? That was a whole nother,
Slim and
that was a whole nother horse of a different color, right? But we were able to, like put some resources together. And I think, it's noteworthy to also say that, there were very few people of color that were in the concert promotion business. The ones that were, present, many of them fronted for white organizations, right? But we were not, and we were the only female that were out there. I don't think there's been any other female concert promoting organizations since then either. So I haven't heard of any.
Yeah.
So, folks were looking at us saying, like, where did these two
Negroes
come from? Man?
Yeah.
Where they getting their resources?
Right. And you learn that, because as Ann mentioned, we both at one point worked for the symphony orchestra. While she worked for the concertmaster, I worked for the president and general manager and music director. So I was responsible for writing a lot of the letters and other kinds of correspondence between the orchestra and the acts that they were bringing to participate in the orchestra season. The phone number. And so you do learn. And in that respect, we were sort of squeezing the grassroots experience along with the upper echelon experiences. We could kind of merge those together, from, the sweat equity that went in to producing your own thing for your community, to the top end where you're, booking Diane Carroll and Jesse Norman and, Della Reese. So we were able to understand what happened at either end of the spectrum.
I wanted to throw something in there because I was thinking about this a while ago. You had it at the Memorial Auditorium, I know, but I was kind of wondering, you couldn't have had that at the Rock Pile at the War Memorial Stadium? With Juneteenth, Jefferson Avenue and everything?
That time.
You mean
No.
Civic Stadium?
Yeah.
Yeah, Johnny B. Wiley Stadium now.
See why that, you know,
No.
why that popped into my head, because I was just envisioning Frankie Beverly and Mays just performing Golden Time of Day out of that
They had a
stadium
show.
while Juneteenth was on Jefferson Avenue. It was just a thought I had. I just thought I'd throw that in.
Well, you know, that's the understanding of the tech writers and the technical needs, right?
Yeah.
John,
Outdoor.
yeah, outdoor at that time, you know, the weather was unpredictable, but they were not set up. That venue was not set up to
Right.
accommodate the
Mhm.
technology of the time.
Right.
There was a lot of plugs, a lot
And
of
the Bills had
cords, and a
stopped
lot of
playing there a long
amps.
time ago by that point.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's a good idea for some things, but not with that many. There was just no way that stadium
Wow.
could accommodate that show.
Okay.
You know, it's a nice
So,
thought,
Yeah, and
though.
that was outdoors, really. I mean,
Right.
Yeah,
There
Buffalo
was a show
weather
at
is
the Rock.
unpredictable. And,
Yeah,
you
it
know, when
is.
you
Yeah.
invest with all of that
Right.
talent and
Too much of a
resource,
risk.
you
Yeah,
have to,
that's totally understandable. So do you have the
Yeah.
press? So I showed you the footage of the press conference at the Vermilion Room. Y'all any memories
Yeah.
from that? Putting the word out there.
yeah, one of the things
I
that
don't
I
know.
Yeah.
recall about that whole enterprise also, Doug, was that we were very intentional about touching base with as many of the Black churches as possible,
Mhm.
and all the, you know, the community organizations, NAACP. We were touching base with everyone, and, you know, just kind of help asking for their support, and you know, making sure that they knew that, you know, we were of the
Are we-
community, and we were reinvesting whatever we would be able to, you know, realize from that we were going to be
back
reinvesting in the community and also
again.
supporting art.
And what I have, let me ask you, Ann. Can you talk to us about give us
Are we-
your memories of the concert?
Well, I recall that day, we had a significant amount of sales before the event, but you know, in those days, I'm not sure if it's still the same these days. You would calculate, the calculus was for our community, you could depend on 2 people coming in person for every 1 ticket that was sold in advance, right?
Right.
So our calculus was that, okay, we sold, I think, around 3,500, maybe 4,000 tickets in advance. And so we knew that we were going to have a sizable walk-in. And that's exactly what occurred. I think there was, I remember a line.
We ended up close to like 14,000.
Yeah, the Buffalo News.
Yeah.
That's what was made for the concert as a whole, was 14,000.
No, we had about 14,000 attend.
Oh, okay.
Attendee.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was something to navigate as well, because there were some challenges we had, you know, just in terms of the logistics of getting people in. The gate, I don't think, opened until 6 p.m. And the line had been starting to form well before that. But in any case, so, you know, we're trying to navigate that. And of course, we also had the, you know, the acts that, you know, we were trying to get on and off stage in a timely manner, because we definitely didn't want to have to go into overtime, right?
Right.
Yeah, and so
So if anybody wanted to sing a little bit over.
yeah, but everyone was so, like the acts were just really so they were so very enthusiastic about being there and playing. And I part of the time, obviously I was distracted with, checking out the box office, things of that nature. But and our investors who were there. But all in all, I mean, the audience was really excited and having a great time with all those artists there. Um, and at some point, we took a break, and Arthur was able to speak to the audience as well. He had his two twins with him, as I recall, on stage, kind of talking about his intentions as for his bid for mayor and what his intentions would be as mayor. I thought it was a wonderful experience, and I, I think we kind of surprised ourselves, like pulling that thing off.
Okay. Any memories from any special memories from any of the your interactions with some of the performers like Maze or Cameo or Ayers that the audience would like to hear about?
Well, let me say this. Frankie Beverly is one of the nicest guys. They were gentlemen, cooperative. You couldn't ask for a better act. Claire was very cool. We didn't have a chance to engage that much with Dexter Wansel, but he was cool too. The odd man out in this bunch was Cameo, right?
Really?
Cameo, they were the wild bunch.
That's when they were the big band.
They were Cameo was a big band at that time. And they were in these wonderful gold and red costumes. Yeah, they wanted to be Earth, Wind, and Fire. And when Ann talks about, overtime, we were trying to be conscientious, right? And it's time for them to be on. They had their text and they're dancing in a circle, chanting some type of way.
MC, because then we have them go snatch them off.
I don't know. Somewhere had.
Was it Carl? Was Carl Butler there?
It might have been Carl Butler who was helping us. And I was like, get on the stage. We don't get on. No, they had to get on first.
Oh, right.
And they were doing their pre-show ritual, whatever that might have been. But it involved dancing and jumping and all that off stage. And in my mind, I was like, you have to dance and jump and get on stage. It's your turn, right? So, but the other thing is that we tried very, very hard. They was hungry. No. Nobody was thirsty. Nobody was tired. They had, time. So that was really, Jackie negotiating a lot of that, making sure that people had what they wanted. And that might have been a unique experience for some of those acts, like T Connection, for example, very new. And they came as an add-on, as a favor to another booking agent.
Okay.
But that we respected them as, and when you're in an artist yourself, you want to let these artists know that as an artist, you understand them and that you support what they're doing. So, I can say that everybody was really cool, and it was just Cameo who was just a little on the wild side.
Even then, huh?
Even then, maybe more so then.
Yeah, there's more of them.
Right.
Then,
Yeah.
4 of them now.
Yeah, there was a bunch of them back then. So.
Yeah, I remember Roy Ayers really doing a really great job. Everybody's like,
he was real cool.
I love the sunshine.
Yes. I mean, the music, it was chart topping at the time for all of the acts. We were very lucky, and that the radio stations cooperated and the bars and clubs cooperated. So we got the pre-play, And so the audience, they had their favorites and everybody was, clapping, dancing, having a good time.
Right. That was money time because the first and the 15th.
Yeah,
people
we
got paid. So that's
right.
when they
We
buy their
planned
tickets.
around payday. So, you got all strategies in place, right?
Right.
And so it was effective. And we had a friend of mine at that time had a small security company. And so we had gated up so that and I'm sure we were among the first to do this, blacklight tickets. We had
Right.
special tickets ordered so that the tickets would come in and that we scanned and we would know whether it was in a ultraviolet, whether it was a real ticket or a fake ticket. We didn't have, we don't have the, back then there was not the online.
Came out of Texas.
Right. So we had to create our own anti-pirating process.
Everybody bootlegging your tickets. Right.
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 Yeah.
So what was the feedback from the community? Oh, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no, I'm good. I was trying to hear you because there's a little delay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, what was the feedback from the community after the concert took place?
You want to answer, Jackie?
No, the feedback was wonderful. For folks that couldn't get in, we got a little threats, but other than that,
oh boy.
No, folks was like, give me backstage, was like, give me a ticket. Rick James is my uncle or whatever and stuff like that. And I don't know if the ticket wasn't left at the box office. You ain't get the ticket.
Okay.
That's it.
So, yeah.
Okay.
And one next time I'm doing the show. And
so would this about, because I wasn't sure. So this would basically be considered the first ever Juneteenth concert for Buffalo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first one at that level and the only one at that level.
Yeah.
There hasn't been another one.
No.
This is not to say there hasn't been entertainment, but there hasn't been an all-star concert since then.
Right. Okay. So
and things changed that, because I don't know if you could even do that nowadays. You had to put it under the auspices of a festival, right? Because the acts have changed the way they're booked nowadays. We don't have to, rent equipment like that, and rent instruments, because they come contained, and you just pay for that and negotiate from there.
Okay.
It was fun though.
It was clear.
It was
right.
What was a wonderful effort.
Oh, that's right. Clear.
Say again?
Clear. They were new.
Yeah, I was thinking about when Jackie just reminded us of the group Clear, who was also on the bill, and they had no instruments, like no instruments. They showed up, and we had to rent everything from them and hope that some of the other acts would be willing to let them play on their acts, right? And so they were very supportive.
And that was Frankie Beverly too.
Yeah, that was Frankie Beverly, and I think we're saying, okay, we will share. But I want to say, y'all, you showed up without not even a drumstick, dude. But they made it happen. It worked out. Yeah.
Great. So is there anything else that anybody would like to add? Like maybe certainly you all made Juneteenth history in your own right by promoting a group of women that promoted the first and only Juneteenth All Star Concert for the city of Buffalo. Talk to our audience what, in your mind, what the significance of that is for Buffalo's history.
Well, I think as we're bridging from Black History Month into Women's History Month, I think it's really appropriate to note that I always felt that we have always stood on the shoulders of other people. Both Celeste and Jacqueline's family and my family they're old Black Buffalonian families, right? They've been here for a long time. And the issue of contributing to the community, you can do well and do good at the same time. Those kinds of expectations to do your best and be authentic, in what you do. Those lessons have been lessons that I think, we have stood on the shoulders of our ancestors. And so in doing this, taking on this concert promotion activity fearlessly, I think that a lot of that resolve goes back a long, long way. And I'm hopeful that we were able to demonstrate to other folks that look like us, that, things were possible,
Yeah. And I would agree, because I think after that, there was a lot of conversation that I heard fairly routinely about Juneteenth and that concert. And one of them was always, well, when y'all gonna do that again? When y'all gonna do that again? And so I think that there was, that was a note of saying, I didn't know our community could do something like that.
Right.
And now I know that our community can do something like that. So for anybody else to take on that challenge, I would say, go for it, because that's what we did. And so I think that that's important, if we were able to inspire others, because our work, as Ann mentioned, was, there's an expectation that you're going to explore and do. And if it means stepping into uncharted territory, well, that's what you do, and see what happens. And so ideally, that sort of entrepreneurial spirit continues to exist. I see a lot of our younger folks getting into business, and I think that's very exciting.
Okay. Well, ladies, I would like to thank you for being a part of the Buffalo History Channel. It was a pleasure to have this very unique story as part of our Juneteenth presentations and a part of our archive for the Buffalo History Channel as well.
Well, thank you, Doug, for inviting us.
Thank you for inviting us. Good to see you. Good to talk to you.